Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Friday and it's the 7th of November. This video is for education purposes only. There's no recommendation or whatsoever intended, purely to demonstrate how I try to read the market using technical analysis. And let's start with Nvidia today. Hit by massive sell-off here the past few days, especially yesterday, closing around 3% lower. And what is interesting about that, of course it is interesting, we had the two dojis up here, that was quite interesting, kind of a very short-term double top scenario that was confirmed when it broke below and closed below 201, and the sell-off continued. And what it also now seems like we could have a big bearish engulfing here on the weekly chart if the market or Nvidia today closes below 190. If it closes below the opening of the previous week, last week, well, then we have a bearish engulfing top and reversal pattern in place. There's also slightly divergence here. As you can see, this RSI peak here is lower than over here. So it's also indicating a stretched uptrend or a trend exhaustion. Actually a little bit the same picture here on the daily, but that's not that clear. So let's see where it ends today. Will we get this top and reversal in place, or will it bounce back a little bit and close just above it, and not so much of a strong top and reversal, but still it seems quite toppish at the moment. If it moves back further lower, below 176, 76, these lows here, and closes below a 100 moving average and below the cloud, well, then we have a confirmed bearish trend. The overall index, Nasdaq 100, closed just around the support here at 25,136. Also about to perform bearish engulfing, but that one is easy because it actually had this gap here. It could be an exhaustion gap on the short to medium term. So let's see about that. The next support could be 24,652. But the key one here is 24,186. So there's still a bit of way to go. So for now, we are still in a correction phase. A lot of things can happen, but we have divergence on the RSI on daily, indicating just that. We are here pre-market, basically unchanged. So let's have a look at S&P 500. S&P 500 closed below 6,755. The support here. So we are back in what we can call neutral position, but as you can also see here, RSI declined throughout this uptrend there, so a very toppish at the moment. But 6,550 is the key support. I closed there. Then we have a confirmed bearish trend. Dow Jones also just above its support there at 46,760 area. And the other markets here, US 500, just about, here's the CFD, just about unchanged at the moment, bouncing a little bit here, touched the 50% of the uptrend right there. The Russell 2000 index, the small cap index, well, it's very close to being in a bearish trend. It also formed this bearish engulfing here last week, so that is confirmed, the top and reversal pattern, and we also have divergence there. So small caps doesn't look too good, and if we get a close below 237.5, and remember this is the CFD, but it illustrates the index very well. So 237.5, then close below that, then we have a confirmed bearish trend, but very toppish. Interestingly, we had this bearish engulfing here a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago, that was cancelled. Let's see if this can also be cancelled. So keep an eye on that if you're trading the small caps in US. They are not doing too good. In Asian session, not much to do on the Hang Seng, a little bit lower. It's still 26,560 that needs to close close above it. It did close back above the cloud, but it really needs to close above that level to establish a bullish trend. It doesn't really seem like it will do that at the moment. Correction time still unfolding in Nikkei, but here this morning not much to say. But if it takes out that spike down there from the 5th of November at 49,125, well, then we could be hit by a harder sell-off down to around 47,000 on Nikkei. EuroStoxx50 1% lower yesterday, below 5,635. It's not a strong support, it's a minor support, but it also tells us that first of all we had the divergence here on the RSI, market moved higher, and it tells us that we could push lower in the coming days. Here pre-market, there's still a little bit away to before the market opens. 5,600 here on the CFD, didn't close below, bounced a few times from it after spiking below. So let's see here, but if it takes out these spikes down there, then we're looking at 5,500 level. On the DAX index, 23,684 key support area. Let's see if it will be taken out very close to RSI, also just above 40 threshold. So today and the next week could be very crucial there. Here pre-market, we are bouncing slightly, so still holding on, but basically we are actually in a bearish trend here. It's just not confirmed with a negative sentiment on the RSI, but we are a lower low, a lower high, and lower low, so we are under pressure here, but the key one is down here at 23,280. That would be key. On the FX market and euro dollar, we are in for a little bit of a bounce. Not a surprise, we talked about it the past few days. It could happen. We could see a bounce up to the falling trend line here. I don't think we will move all the way, but we could move all the way up to 116.40, which is the 38.2 retracement of this downtrend there, but we will still be below the cloud and below 55 and 100 moving average, and the 55 is about to break below the 100 moving average. It's more or less just, you know, marginal, and maybe today or Monday it will break below, and they are both it's 100, maybe slightly declining. If so, we have a bit of a death cross, but again it's two moving averages that are very close to each other, so it's not the strongest signal. However, it is still a signal that it is trading below these two moving averages. The sterling dollar has reached the 131.40 resistance here. Seems at first take to be rejected. 40 thresholds also seems to be rejecting the RSI. We could still spike up to 131.85 area, which is the 38.2 of this leg down there. And there could be room up to around the 200 moving average, but let's see. It just needs to take out this first, so look out for that. If it slides back and take out 130 down here, then there is room down to 129, 128.60. And we are in a bearish trend, fairly strong. There's no divergence indicating we could see lower levels. Euro sterling, well, kind of stalling here at the moment, so it's a little bit of a battle going on between the euro and between the sterling against the its other currencies. So, but we are still in a bullish trend, a little bit stressed, but in the medium term, as we can see, it is actually in a bullish trend, fairly strong bullish trend. We can also see the moving average are turning around. So, medium to longer term, euro sterling is likely to move higher. Yen pairs. Yen pairs have been quite volatile of late. Dipped again early this morning. Well, we ended the session yesterday and started down there this morning, but has bounced again. Still divergence on the RSI, and if you want to know more about RSI, I do have a video in there. It's a webinar or a video I shot a few months ago about RSI and RSI divergence, how you work with it or how you can work with it. So we are caught here, and this is what I will do. I will draw this. Oh, that was the wrong one, sorry. Let's just leave it there. This one, there we are. If it moves below the lows from today, 152.80, well, then we are looking at 152.15 down here, 786 retracement, and the key support here, 151.50. But for now, we are still a little bit range bound, little bit. Where do I want to go to? Euro yen, that spiked down to the 786 retracement and bounced. And that is what it has to take out to really push lower to 174.80. I don't think it will happen. I think we will slowly crawl higher. And if you're a very short-term trader, you can also do this, apart from, of course, looking on intraday chart. But here, we need to get back above 177.62, 65. If it does that, then I think uptrend will resume. It is still intact. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low maybe, and a new higher high. I think we will see that play out. Also, if we're looking at the the weekly, we are a little bit stressed though. We had this doji last week, and maybe we have a top and reversal in place. So that maybe that's what the battle is about at the moment. Also, yen. Well, again this morning, late last night, it touched this spike down there and bounced. So that is the key support to watch out for. And if it takes out this the spike up here at 100.30, well, then I think uptrend will resume. But you see there's divergence on the RSI, so maybe it will be to downside. Keep an eye on that. That could mean it will slide lower, and then we have a push down to around, let's see, at least 98.45, possibly lower to 97.5 area. Sterling yen can't really make up its mind what it wants to do. It has bounced, but we see lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and so on. And so we are actually in a bearish trend. But it is very, how you say, it's not easy to read. And we also have the RSI declining, so as you can see here, but there's no divergence on this peak here. It was actually indicating we could see higher highs, but we need RSI to get back above the falling trend line, and especially back above 60 threshold. Then I think we will see a bullish trend being re-established. If it takes out 198.85 here to the downside, then I think we will see a bearish trend unfold. Aussie dollar, well, yeah, basically range bound in a bigger picture, so we can do this here and see, well, that's actually the bigger picture. It's a quite big range, I agree, but that's how it is sometimes, really volatile within it. It is to the bearish side, never closed above the cloud, and never closed above 60 threshold, so still negative sentiment. However, we do have the 200 moving average coming up there, so we can be boxed in here in this wide range here for quite some time. I need some direction. We could see it bounce up to just below the cloud on 65.50, but this is the range for now at least, so it needs to break out of that. Dollar Canada, stalling a little bit, still a bullish trend. I think it will crawl higher in the coming days and weeks, but a little bit stressed. However, you can see here RSI, let's remove this. RSI is basically just flat here now. I can't make out. There could be a correction coming in, because what's the key here? Well, the 200 moving average still trying to drag it a little bit on it. Medium to longer term, but 55 and 100 coming up, so we should crawl higher here eventually towards 142 area. Sterling Canada, strong bounce up to 38.2 retracement, and now I think we will set back again, because we are actually established a bearish trend, so I think we will slide back also below the cloud. Did get in it, but that doesn't mean too much. It should get back above it, but then we have 55 coming down and 100 here virtually flat, so that kind of putting a lid on it. It could still bounce up to this area here, just above 186, but I think this is just a counter reaction to the massive sell-off. I think we will see it resume downtrend eventually. Euro-Swiss still holding on quite nicely here around the 61.8 retracement, trading around 93 area. It is to the bullish side still, key will be, can RSI close above 60 threshold or not? If it can do that, well, then it has established a positive sentiment, but it still has some overhead struggle here. There is a really overhead resistance, 100 moving average coming down to the 55, already putting a lid on it. So that will be really a struggle, and also we have the cloud area here. So I think it will be rejected, but I'm not going in to say that we will resume downtrend until it takes out. And let me just draw that line. At least needs to take out and close below 92.80. Dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, so busy to get the data. There we are. Still bullish, but there is a bit of a correction here. We still a positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence, indicating likely higher levels. We can do, if you're a short-term trader, we can take from the last leg up there and see, okay, how much will it set back? We didn't even get back to the 38.2 retracement, so maybe it will push higher, and if it takes out the peak there, then it will continue likely up to these ranges here around 81.80, possibly up to around 82. Dollar index. In a correction phase, we have a top and reversal-like pattern. We had this doji here, we had a bullish move here, and a bearish yesterday. So it spiked above 100, now setting back and could slide back to the 99.30 support area, and then I think we'll bounce. I think it will stay above this rising trend line here. But as you can see, we have the 200 moving average coming down there, kind of putting a lid on it. And you can see it got rejected there at first take, but next time could push higher. And no divergence on the RSI. You see RSI here higher than here, so it supports the bullish view at the moment, but we are in a correction phase. It also corresponds nicely with what's going on in euro dollar and to some extent dollar Swiss. Moving on to commodities and gold, range bound here between 4,046 and 3,886. Breakout could mean that to the upper side, then we're looking at 41.62. A move above that, then we are back in bullish trend, especially if RSI then will most likely also close back above 60 threshold, supporting that. So keep an eye on 55 moving average coming there, kind of supporting. I think we will break higher, a little bit higher, but a little bit later, but I need confirmation. Silver trying to push higher. If it takes out 49.37 here to the upper side, then I think we'll see push to at least $51, and RSI will then also move back above 60 threshold, and then we are back in a bullish trend and could push higher towards the previous peaks here. But let's see about that. I would say still a little bit range bound, but you will see higher high, higher low. Will it get a higher high? That would be the key. Platinum, well, tested the 55 moving average and very close to this support area here. So let's just draw a trend line so it's much more clear for us here around 1492 key support that it needs to take out to well, actually it's down 1437. That will be the key one, but I think we will see a bounce here too. But 1662 needs to take that out to reestablish the bullish trend. Copper, still taking it a little bit easy here, but it has bounced from the 786 retracement and the 100 moving average coming up here, and we still have this gold cross here on the 55 and 200. So I think eventually we will push higher here on copper, but again, I need confirmation, but I think it will do that. And it is not a recommendation or advice whatsoever. Moving on to the energy market, the WTI crude oil, basically now bearish trend here, lower low, lower high, lower low. Will it continue? I think it will. Still negative sentiment on the RSI. If it takes out the spike down yesterday, they are down to the 61.8 retracement, then I think it will slide even lower towards the previous lows here. So see about that. The picture on the Brent Crude oil more or less the same. Obviously, if it takes out the lows from yesterday, then a downtrend is likely to really be back in full force. Moving on to the nat gas market, still the same old story on the European nat gas, still in this range here. So let's move on to the US nat gas. that canceled this top and reversal like pattern here and has pushed higher. 440 it is still testing again, as we can see here on the weekly. It could be a move here towards the weekend and also going into next week, and a continued move towards $4.90 and $5, and that will be key towards the next the coming times here. Moving on to the yields area and interest rates. We had the US 10-year actually did move into positive sentiment, but it is struggling to really gain momentum up to and above 420. That will be key, but we have the 100 moving average coming down, so there's really strong support around 420. It will be key. If it takes out the spike down here, and let's also add that to it right there, and what we can also do if you're working with it and you're into this, well, the move up here, there we are. So if it takes out 405, well, downtrend is likely to resume. European yields, we had the EU 10-year trying again to move higher here, and I think it will do it eventually, but for now it's being rejected at the 61.8 retracement and the 55 moving average coming down there, so putting a lid on it a little bit. Will it slide back towards 262? It's not unlikely, but let's see. 268 key resistance. The UK 10, interestingly enough, it's still holding on here above 437. It's not back in full motion. I think it will do it here in the next few days, but keep an eye on it. If it takes out 437, it will move much lower. The Japanese 10, well, not much to say, still in this bullish trend here, not much of a story. And finally, cryptocurrencies dipped below 100,000 a couple of times, still holding on above it, and that would be key. Maybe we could get a bounce up to around 107, 108,000, and we can do this if you are really into it. Then there we are. So 38.2 retracement there, we could get up to the 109,700 at the 61.8, but if it takes out the lows there, well, then we are looking lower towards the 92 area. Ethereum, more or less the same story. It's pausing a little bit. I think it will bounce a little bit, but we are in a downtrend. All right, that's all for today and this week. Have a nice day and weekend when you get to there. Talk to you again Monday.